Hi guys, welcome back to MBA podcast. I am currently in IIM Bangalore. मेरे साथ है मुकुल. मुकुल is IIM Bangalore PGB 2
Yes.
second year. And काफी interesting story है. इसने 3 बारी CAT exam लिखा है. So IIT दिल्ली.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, तो देखो भाई IIT वाले भी 2-3 बार CAT लिखते हैं, है ना? ऐसा नहीं कि पहले attempt में हो जाता है. So he's here to share his entire story and 3-3.5 महीने बचे हैं मुकुल. I really wanted to tell students that how can they crack CAT. Maybe IITians, non-IITians, whatsoever. Over to you.
Okay. So I'll start with a bit of my background. So I gave CAT 3 times and started in 2020, which was my final year of undergrad. And at that time, I scored 99.8, where I had. Eventually, I converted IIM Lucknow, but I was thinking it like that I wanted to get into IIM ABC. So therefore, I chose not to pursue IIM Lucknow at that point of time. Thereafter, I gave another attempt after 2 years in 2021. So my first attempt was CAT 2019. Second attempt was CAT 2021, where I scored 99.6, but didn't get any call from IIM's A,
So
B, or
you dipped from 99.8 to 99.6.
right.
Nice.
So I didn't get any call from IIM A, B, or C at that point of time. So I chose not to interview for other IIMs at that point of time, and I gave another attempt in CAT 2022. And at that point of time, I scored 99.86, and I got calls from all 3 IIMs A, B, and C. Converted interviews of IIM Bangalore and Calcutta, and decided to pursue my MBA here from IIM Bangalore.
So you have any work ex?
Yes. So all the while, since my graduation in 2020, I have been working at one of the startups named Urban Company. So yeah, I have a startup work experience in 2 different domains there into the team.
So one question I want to ask, why the IITians are so finicky about ABC only, because Lucknow is doing great, Kozhikode is also good, right? So why such thing कि नहीं ABC ही चलना है, because you wrote it like 3 times, right?
Right.
ऐसे भी था कि यार पहली बार ही आ गए, चलो निकल जाते हैं, हो जाएगा अपने MBA, because a lot of people now want to do MBA as early as they can.
Yeah.
So what's so special that you thought, no, I want only ABC over and above Lucknow or FMS or XLRI?
Okay. So to answer that, I must say,
XLRI is there, right?
Yes. Of course. So to answer that, I must say that I have a change of opinion after coming to IIM Bangalore. Earlier, I was thinking differently about how these IIMs are placed in terms of relative positioning. I had certain opinions about how would my career fare after IIM Lucknow versus IIM A, B, or C. But that has changed after getting into IIM Bangalore, and I realized a lot of opportunities are similar across these IIMs, and IIM Lucknow and all the other colleges, FMS, etc., are also doing good. But if so as to answer it generically, why this is a common trend amongst IITians, like they are particularly finicky about IIMs A, B, or C. One of the thing I could attribute about that is it has become sort of a culture, because a lot of our seniors, while we start thinking about CAT in IITs, or maybe in second or third year, a lot of our seniors are trying for IIM A, B, and C only, and that sort of set an image into our head, like
peer group kind of, because a lot of alumni of IITians are from ABC, so
right.
वो एक culture बन गया आप लोगों का. Fantastic. Okay, now let's get to this point. Like there are 3.5 months remaining, or let's say 100 odd days for CAT, and there are a lot of students. They might be IITians, NITians, or maybe average students, right?
Yeah.
What you would suggest for somebody who's got 100 days in hand, how they should be preparing for CAT from now onwards?
Right. Okay, so I think 2 things are particularly important. One is to have a clear grasp of fundamentals. Like you shouldn't compromise on fundamentals. Like they help in a good way throughout your journey. Second is mocks are very important. I have seen people who are actually revising concepts again and again and not attempting so many mocks. But so my advice would be like I try to balance between both. Having a decent grasp of quant side, because I prepared for JEE, etc. So having a decent grasp of quant side, I didn't need to prepare much for quant section, but that didn't mean that I didn't focus on the fundamentals for the other two sections. I spent a good time preparing fundamentals for, let's say, DILR, trying out different types of sets, whatever have been there in the previous papers, and verbal, because I had to increase my reading speed for the verbal section. So I had to put up a habit of reading newspaper or journals. So
very much conventional way you went.
Very much conventional,
Right.
exactly.
Would you mind sharing your sectional if you remember?
Yes, I remember. Actually, that was one of the point I thought I would mention into
Nice.
this discussion.
Nice.
So I had a bit different case than how usual would go. I am guessing. I scored in CAT 2023, CAT 2022. I scored a total of 108 or 110 marks.
Bravo.
With which I had 99.86 percentile, and my sectional marks were I had 61 or 62 marks in quant only. So I didn't do so well in the other two sections, I would say. VARC,
so quant was what, 99.98?
99.
99.99 quants. And DILR?
DILR was 98 point something, and verbal was 96 point something.
Oh, still you made it a 99.86 club.
Yeah,
awesome.
So that's where numbers do their trick, I would suggest. If you are scoring more than 99.95 in one section, it would do wonders to your overall
Actually.
Just imagine, because the overall distribution towards the upper end is far spaced. So if you are getting a very high percentile in one of the sections, that would mean that you can do with okay scores in other two sections also.
Same example. I posted a video, Meghna, one of the student, your junior, 99.98 verbal, 98 DILR, 92 quants, overall 99.94.
Yeah.
CAT 2023. So I think this is a very good trick. Take one section, 99.50 plus. The later two would be like maybe 97, 98, and you'll still be able to get 99.5060. You can cross that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Again, coming back to the preparation part, we were talking about the mocks. How many mocks they should be gunning for? Any ballpark number?
Okay. Once you're clear with the fundamentals, and a point to emphasize over there is that don't spend too much time onto the fundamentals, like you are not giving mocks, because mocks are very important for the overall preparation. So mocks, I would suggest, if you have like 3 months before the D-Day, so start giving mocks every second week at least, or third week, like if you need to spend more time onto the fundamentals at this point of time. Most of the mocks which are available from various institutes are also like scheduled like this, that at this point of time, as I remember, they have one mock every 2-3 weeks, and then as you go closer to the D-Day, they would have like one in every 2 weeks or like every week also. So try to adhere to that schedule. Try to attempt all of the mocks, because they will give you a good idea about your relative standing also, and analyze the mocks with a clear mind, and like give good time to analyzing the mocks in terms of which sections have you continuously been doing good in. Where are there any particular topics where you have not been able to score well in like last 3-4 mocks? Then maybe it's good time to deep dive into why is that happening, what you can do differently. So analyze mocks with the proper time.
So any fundamental you can give us which you apply during your mock analysis, because a lot of people, they do give mocks, but the analysis only comes into picture if you believe that the mock was good. Then you are motivated to actually analyze it. If you know that your mock is screwed, you'll be like, fuck it, I don't want to actually analyze it. So when they analyze it, any pointers like, check out this, check out that stuff, can you give us an idea about it?
Yes. Okay, so I think most of the mocks, you would have a common trend across sections. Like if you are doing well in quant, you would continue to do well in quant. So that type of a trend I was observing while I was analyzing my mocks. But at the same time, like one of the section was DILR, where a good standard deviation I had observed. Like a few mocks I even scored in single digit, as I remember, and a few mocks I did well. So not to get demotivated, you need to understand if that was a one-off thing, or if that was something which had like some fundamental learnings for you. So that you can understand only when you actually sit with the paper again. Think about like how did you approach the paper while you are attempting the mock, and how could you have done differently. Like if you think at that level, that would give you insight about like if that is a one-off event, and which is a good possibility. I would suggest like even though I used to score well in quant in most of the mocks, there were a few mocks where I got stuck with like quant overall in the mocks 92 percentile, while I was scoring around 99 in other mocks. So there is a possibility that you wouldn't do well in one of the mocks. Don't get demotivated by that. That is a real possibility, happens with everyone because that's how the exam is structured to be. But do understand what was the reason behind you not doing well. Was it a one-off chance, or was it something fundamental that you need to address?
What's the ballpark number for like mocks? 30, 40, 50, 20?
I would suggest like for someone who has a decent grasp of fundamentals, they should attempt at least 20. And depending on if you have been able to improve in the 20, like then story goes differently for everyone.
Got it. So now here is a little tricky question I would ask you, Mukul, because for the fact you are an IIT and I really want you to address this. So when you talk about quants, right? So I look at IITians and non-IITians, or let's say people who are good with quants and people who are not good with quants, like average janta, like mostly, right? So do you guys, when you go for quants, right, when you attempt those questions, do you also take into consideration the part which is strategy, checking the difficulty level of the question, doing the trade-off that probably I'll leave question number 8 and take question number 6 because I can solve that in a lesser minute and I can get it 100% accuracy.
Right.
Do you guys do that, or is it a pure intelligence or the IQ that comes out of you guys, wherein intuitively you are now knocking these questions off? Like somebody like me, like I'm pretty good at verbal. So for me, verbal, I don't really have to have a strategy. I can just go because I can do it. How it works with you guys when it comes to quants?
Right.
Because I wanted to address this so that the non-quant janta can understand this very well.
Exactly. I understand. That's an interesting question, and I think I have a good story to tell about this. So traditionally, I think I have been thinking that I could maybe start from question 1, and most of the quant questions, like because I was comfortable with the fundamentals, so there weren't a lot of questions which I like on the face of it I would feel that I cannot solve it. Most of the questions I used to feel that might take longer, but I can solve it. So because of which my general strategy earlier was that I used to attempt from question 1, howsoever time it was taking, I used to try that
chronology.
All of the questions I would try to do in like minimum time, but and that used to work fine for me. I think in the first attempt it worked fine, but then I gave CAT 2021. And I'm not so I think quant there was a bit difficult. I don't like I'm not sure what was the general opinion, but like I felt it was a bit difficult. And because of which, while I started with the question 1 and I spent too much time into a few questions in between, and I could not complete the paper. I think quant overall 24 questions were there, if I'm not wrong, and I got stuck at 19 or 18 or 19. And I missed 4 or 5 easy questions, I would say, when I looked at them later. So that gave me some good learning about like everyone needs to have strategy in place, whatever your confidence level is. But you need to understand like, and that strategy could be simply iterate. Like you have attempted 2-3 questions into the paper, 4-5 questions into the paper. Try to simply extrapolate, like you have spent 1.5 minutes on an average per question till that point of time. Would you be able to complete the paper if you go at that pace, or are you falling behind? If you are falling behind, you need to change your strategy. You need to maybe pick and choose. These questions are a bit difficult, might take longer, so I'll come back onto this if I have time in that. So that is something which I improvised into the later attempt, and I think it worked well.
Perfect. One more question: how do you handle mock trauma? Right. So what happens? People give mock, screw it up completely, and then you feel like, okay, I'm not getting into IIM Ahmedabad, I'm getting into Bodh Gaya. Right? Did that happen to you? Emotional issues?
Yes and no. I think
very modest you are.
Some mocks were not going good. So one thing which I had one of my friend who was also preparing for CAT with me. So usually one benchmark I used to compare was the general all India rank, etc.
Right.
And the second is like I used to discuss mock with that friend.
That's nice.
And with which I could understand it deeply. Like if there was something which I did particularly wrong after talking to my friend, like because he was able to solve those questions and I didn't follow the right approach, etc. or if there is any fundamental difference, like if there is any fundamental concept which I need to brush up again, etc. So
Okay.
with that, I used to try to understand the reason behind my mock not going well, not going so much into the zone, like emotional zone, that I wouldn't be able to make it this year. I think that helps, like because all one can do is to understand where they are falling behind and can improve over there.
Perfect.
So that helps.
So now 100 days बचे हैं,
Yes.
right? Can they do it? 100 days में possible है, लगता है तुम्हें 99 food now?
I think so. Yes.
Provided they have been studying from last 3 months, 2 months diligently. अभी कर सकते हैं 3 महीने.
Yes, I think so. That can be very much achievable. I have seen a numerous number of examples. People who have been here into IIM Bangalore, into my friend groups, plus people who were preparing for CAT along with me. And people actually were able to achieve. And I consider myself to be like, I was preparing for CAT a bit alongside my job, so I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the CAT. But only in the last 2-3 months, I got really serious about it, which helped me eventually crack the CAT ultimately. So I think that helps. So if you are getting serious for the last 100 days, that is more than enough. Prepare for the fundamentals, give enough mocks, and that should.
All right, last question for the day. How's life in IIM Bangalore? It's been 1.5 years now.
Yeah, very exciting. I would say very exciting. First year was a bit hectic, but at the same time, it was also full of learnings, full of friendships, full of fun, full of excitement. It was very good. Then summer internships happened, a bit hectic period, but very important so as to understand how is life going to be post MBA, and it was good actually, full of learning.
People say Bangalore is chilled. The culture is like relaxing. Is that the thing? Because campus में तो कुछ अलग सुनने को मिला मुझे कि बहुत rigorous है, ऐसा नहीं है. We are not.
So I wouldn't say chill, because I have had a lot of sleepless nights here. There have been days like where I was struggling to find time to do anything else than to complete my project work or course assignments, etc. There have been a lot of such days, but at the same time, like if you manage your time well, you get time to chill also. Like
True that.
Time management is the key. And other than that, like full of learnings and full of fun, good balance between both. Bangalore.
Perfect. Mukul, thank you so very much for giving some time. And I wish you all the best, man. Thanks a lot. Guys, if you have liked this podcast, like karo, share karo and subscribe karo. Thank you so much guys for watching. Thank you.